Welcome to Sci-Fi Vault of Tales. Like the video and subscribe to journey further.
The Orion Veil burned with neon fire. Asteroids, massive and jagged, glowed like embers against the void, their surfaces pulsing with bioluminescent algae. The Iron Sparrow, a sleek smuggler's ship scarred from countless runs, screamed through the belt, weaving between tumbling rocks. Plasma bolts seared past, close enough to scorch the hull. Inside the cockpit, Cassian Holt gripped the controls, his cybernetic eye flashing blue as it tracked trajectories. Sweat beaded on his brow, his auburn hair plastered against his forehead. He muttered a curse, yanking the ship into a tight spiral to dodge another blast. "Cassian, you're gonna get us vaporized." Zyra Velith's voice rang out, sharp but melodic, like a chime caught in a storm. Her crystalline skin caught the cockpit's emergency lights, refracting them into a kaleidoscope of reds and blues across the console. She tapped furiously at the navigation panel, her silver eyes locked on a hollow display. "Bank left now. There's a gap at Vector 329. Cassian grinned, all rogue charm, and threw the ship into a dive. "Relax, Zyra. I've danced through worse." The Sparrow shuddered as it grazed an asteroid, sparks showering the viewport. "Besides, you're the one who picked a fight with the Varkon Syndicate." Zyra shot him a glare, her skin flaring brighter. "I didn't pick it. They just hate losing their toys." Her fingers flew over the controls, recalibrating shields. 2 minutes to the cloud. If we hit it, they'll lose our signal. The ship lurched as a plasma bolt clipped the starboard wing. Alarms blared, red lights bathing the cockpit. Cassian's eye whirred, feeding him data on the pursuing warship. A hulking Varkon cruiser bristling with cannons. They're not giving up easy. What's in that cargo that's got them so pissed? Zyra's expression tightened, her glow dimming for a split second. "Just focus on not crashing, hotshot." She adjusted a dial, boosting the rear deflectors. "You want to play hero? Guess my soul name, human. Get it right, and I'm yours forever. Good luck pronouncing that symphony." Cassian chuckled, his hands steady on the yoke. Then, to her shock, he hummed a low, complex melody, a cascade of harmonics that vibrated the air. Zyra froze, her eyes wide, her skin pulsing with erratic light. "How the hell did you do that?" she demanded, voice trembling with disbelief. "That's impossible." "Guess I'm just lucky," Cassian said, smirking as he juked the ship through a narrowing gap. The Sparrow spun, threading between two asteroids that collided behind them in a burst of glowing debris. "Or maybe I've got a few tricks you don't know about." Zyra shook her head, refocusing on the nav screen. "You're not that charming, Holt. Spill it. Where'd you hear my soul name?" Her tone was half accusation, half curiosity, her Klythar accent clipping the words like crystal shards. "Later," Cassian said, his eye locked on the asteroid field. "Right now, we've got a cruiser up our tailpipe." The Sparrow dove toward a dense cloud of dust and rock. The Veil's natural cover. The Varkon ship fired a parting salvo, lighting up the void. Cassian flipped a switch, killing the engines to coast silently into the cloud. The cockpit dimmed, only the hum of life support breaking the quiet. Zyra leaned back, her skin settling into a soft glow. "Nice move. Didn't think you had it in you." She crossed her arms, studying him. "But don't think I'm letting that soul name thing slide. Nobody guesses a Klythar's name by accident." Cassian met her gaze, his cybernetic eye pulsing faintly. "Maybe I'm not just anybody." He tapped the console, pulling up a damage report. "Ship's beat to hell, but we're alive. Now, what's so special about that cargo? And don't dodge me this time." Zyra hesitated, her fingers hovering over the controls. "It's complicated. Let's just say it's worth more than both our lives." A faint beep interrupted her. "Oh." Distress signal, weak but clear, cutting through the static. The holodisplay flickered, showing coordinates for Ecliptica base. A garbled voice mentioned a hybrid breach, then cut out. Cassian raised an eyebrow. Friends of yours? Zyra's glow dimmed again, her expression unreadable. Not exactly, but we can't ignore it. She punched in the coordinates, her voice firm. Set course for Ecliptica. Whatever's waiting there, it's tied to our cargo. And maybe to you, knowing my name. The sparrow hummed back to life, slipping deeper into the cloud. Outside, the Varkon cruiser prowled, its scanners sweeping the void. Cassian's grin faded, his mind racing. How much did Zyra know about the cargo? And what was waiting at Ecliptica? The Iron Sparrow drifted in the asteroid cloud, cloaked by swirling dust that shimmered like a cosmic fog. Inside, the cockpit glowed with the faint pulse of emergency lights, casting shadows across scorched panels. Cassian Holt, slouched in the pilot's chair, his cybernetic eye scanning a flickering damage report. The Varkon cruiser's last salvo had fried the starboard thrusters, leaving them limping. He ran a hand through his auburn hair, muttering, "She's a tough old bird. But we're one hit from scrap." Zyra Velith stood by the cargo hatch, her crystalline skin catching the light in soft prisms. She tapped a console, pulling up a hollow of their payload, a sealed canister, its surface etched with Terran biotech sigils, glowing a faint blue. "Focus, Cassian. We need to check the cargo. If it's damaged, we're dead anyway." Her voice carried a Klythar lilt, sharp but melodic, betraying a hint of nerves. Cassian swiveled to face her, his grin sharp. "You gonna tell me what's in that thing? Or do I have to guess, like your soul name?" He leaned forward, his cybernetic eye whirring as it locked on her. "Because I'm 2 for 2 on surprises today." Zyra's skin flared, a ripple of gold cutting through her usual blues. "You're insufferable. You know that?" She crossed, her arms glancing at the canister's hollow. "It's nanites. Experimental. Terran Klythar joint project. That's all you need to know for now." "Nanites?" Cassian raised an eyebrow, standing to join her at the hatch. "What kind, Zyra? Medical? Weapons? Or something weird like rewriting DNA?" He tapped the console, zooming in on the canister's specs. "Because the Varkons don't chase medical supplies across the Veil." Zyra hesitated, her glow dimming. "It's more than that. Let's just say it's valuable enough to start a war." She turned away, busying herself with a diagnostic scan. The cockpit hummed, its air thick with tension. Cassian watched her, his mind piecing together fragments. Her secrecy, the soul name, the Varkon's dogged pursuit. He stepped closer, voice low. "I'm not some hired gun, Zyra. I'm in this with you. But I need the truth. What's your stake in this?" His cybernetic eye flickered, catching a subtle shift in her vitals. Her pulse quickened, her skin pulsing erratically. Zyra met his gaze, her silver eyes narrowing. "My stake? I'm a fugitive, Cassian. Klythar don't just leave their homeworld for fun. This job, this cargo, it's my ticket to freedom." She jabbed a finger at the hollow. "And maybe yours, if you stop asking questions and start fixing the ship." Cassian chuckled, unfazed. "Freedom, huh? Funny. That's my game too." He gestured to a faded Terran Science Corps patch on his jacket. "Got myself exiled for calling out their shady experiments. Guess we're both running from something." Zyra's expression softened, just for a moment. "You don't know the half of it." She turned back to the console, her fingers hovering over the controls. Before she could say more, the comms crackled, spitting static. A weak distress signal cut through, its message fragmented but urgent. "Ecliptica base. Under attack. Hybrid breach. Nanites critical." The signal died, leaving only a faint hiss. Cassian frowned, pulling up the coordinates. "Ecliptica base. That's a Terran black site. Nobody's supposed to know it exists." He glanced at Zyra, whose skin had gone dull, almost opaque. You knew about this, didn't you? Zyra didn't meet his eyes. I know it's trouble, and it's tied to the cargo. She punched in a command, plotting a course through the cloud. We can't outrun the Varkons with a busted ship, but we can't ignore that signal either. Ecliptica's our only shot at answers. Cassian slid back into the pilot's chair, his jaw tight. Answers about what? The nanites? The attack? Or why you're acting like you're carrying more than just cargo? He fired up the engines, the Sparrow groaning as it limped forward. I'm trusting you, Zyra. Don't make me regret it. Zyra's skin flared again, a defiant burst of color. Trust goes both ways, hotshot. You knew my soul name. Care to explain that little trick? She leaned closer, her voice dropping. Because nobody, not even a Terran with a fancy eye, pulls that off by chance. Cassian smirked, dodging the question. Let's get to Ecliptica first. Then we'll trade secrets. The Sparrow slipped through the asteroid cloud, its hull glinting in the neon haze. Outside, the Varkon cruiser's scanners swept the void, closing in. What was waiting at Ecliptica? And why did Zyra's secrets feel bigger than the war chasing them? The asteroid cloud parted, revealing a jagged rock the size of a small moon, its surface glittering with crystalline veins. The Iron Sparrow docked in the shadow of a derelict Klythar temple, its spires carved from translucent stone that pulsed, faintly, like a heartbeat synced to distant stars. Inside the cockpit, Cassian Holt powered down the ship, his cybernetic eye scanning for Varkon signals. The console flickered, showing critical damage to the thrusters. He cursed under his breath, running a hand through his sweat-damp hair. We're sitting ducks out here, Zyra. Hope this hideout's worth it. Zyra Velith stood at the airlock, a crystalline skin shimmering with soft blues under the temple's reflected glow. It's more than a hideout. It's sacred. Her voice carried a reverent edge, her silver eyes fixed on the temple's spires through the viewport. Come with me. We need to move fast before the Varkons sniff us out. She grabbed a toolkit, her movements precise despite the tension in her frame. Cassian raised an eyebrow, slinging a repair kit over his shoulder. Sacred. Looks like a ghost town to me. He followed her through the airlock, stepping onto the asteroid's surface. The temple loomed ahead, its walls etched with swirling patterns that seemed to shift under the starlight. The air was thin, gravity low, making each step feel like a drift. Zyra's skin caught the light, casting prisms across the stone, and Cassian couldn't help but stare. Stop gawking, hotshot, Zyra teased, her tone lighter now. She led him into the temple's main chamber, a vast dome where crystalline pillars glowed with an inner fire. This is a star singer's sanctuary. Klythar has come here to commune with the cosmos. She knelt by a central altar, its surface humming with faint harmonics. Help me activate it. It'll mask our signal. Cassian crouched beside her, his cybernetic eye whirring as it analyzed the altar's tech. Fancy. So, what's the deal with this soul name thing? You looked like I'd cracked your soul when I guessed it. He flashed a grin, but his voice held genuine curiosity. What's it mean to you? Zyra's skin pulsed gold, then settled to a muted blue. A soul name is personal. It's the sound of the stars at our birth, unique to every Klythar. She pressed a crystal into the altar, and a low hum filled the chamber, vibrating the air. If someone speaks it true, it binds us to them. A pact, romantic, sometimes. Sacred, always. Her eyes met his, searching. So how'd you do it, Cassian? That's no party trick. Cassian hesitated, his fingers tightening on the toolkit. My eyes not just for show. Terran Science Core Tech, experimental. Picks up subsonic frequencies, stuff humans can't. Here. He tapped the glowing implant, its blue light steady. Caught your name at a diplomatic summit 3 years back. Klythar delegation. Big ceremony. You were there, chanting with the star singers. Zyra's glow flared, surprise rippling across her skin. 3 years ago? You've been carrying that around all this time. She stood, the altar now pulsing in sync with the temple's walls. Why didn't you say something? Didn't know it was a big deal till you brought it up. Cassian shrugged, but his grin softened. Figured it was just a pretty sound. Like you? He winked, then nodded at the altar. So, this star singing. What's it do? Zyra smirked, brushing off his flirtation. It's a ritual. We sing. To the stars. Align our hearts with their rhythms. Watch. She closed her eyes, her voice rising in a harmonic chant, clear and resonant. The temple responded, its crystals glowing brighter, their light dancing across the dome. Join me. Match the tone. Cassian raised an eyebrow but tried, his voice rough but earnest. Their duet wove together, the chamber amplifying the sound until it felt like the stars themselves were listening. Zyra's skin blazed, her hand brushing his as the song peaked. For a moment, the galaxy felt alive, their voices, its pulse. The altar chimed, its signal cloak active. Zyra stepped back, her glow steadying. That'll keep the Varkons blind for now. She studied Cassian, her voice soft. You're full of surprises, human. But that cargo? It's tied to why I was at that summit, and why I'm running. Cassian's eye flickered, catching a faint signal spike on his scanner. Running from what, Zyra? And what's at Ecliptica that's got you spooked? The temple's glow pulsed, but a distant rumble shook the asteroid. Something was out there, hunting them. The Iron Sparrow hummed back to life, its engines sputtering as it slipped from the asteroid's shadow. The Klythar temple's crystalline glow faded behind them, its signal cloak holding strong against Varkon scanners. Inside the cockpit, Cassian Holt hunched over the pilot's console, his cybernetic eye flicking across readouts. The thruster damage was worse than he'd thought. They'd be crawling to Ecliptica base. He glanced at Zyra Velith, a crystalline skin casting soft prisms across the controls. We're moving like a busted freighter, Zyra. Hope this Ecliptica trip's worth the risk. Zyra stood at the nav station, her silver eyes locked on the distress signal's coordinate. Her glow was muted, her expression tight. It's worth it, Cassian. That signal's no coincidence. She tapped the console, amplifying the garbled message. Ecliptica base. Varkon attack. Hybrid breach. Nanites critical. The words crackled, then looped, each repetition more urgent. They need what we're carrying, and we need answers. Cassian spun his chair to face her, his jaw set. Answers about what? The cargo? Or why you're dodging every question I ask? He pointed at the holo display, where the nanite canister's faint blue glow pulsed like a heartbeat. You said nanites, Terran Klythar project, but you're holding out on me. What's the real deal? Zyra's skin flickered, a ripple of gold betraying her unease. She crossed her arms, her voice low. You want the truth? Fine. The nanites are for genetic stabilization, cross-species compatibility, human and Klythar. She hesitated, her glow dimming further. I'm part of it. They engineered me, Cassian. A prototype, built to bond with human DNA. Cassian's eye widened, its blue light pulsing as he processed her words. Engineered? You mean you're some kind of lab project? He stood, stepping closer, his voice sharp but not cruel. So this job, us working together, was that planned too? Are you playing me? Zyra's skin flared, a burst of crimson cutting through her blues. No, my feelings aren't programmed, you jackass. She jabbed a finger at him, her Klythar accent thickening. I'm here because I chose to be. But yeah, the nanites, the summit where you heard my soul name, that was their plan. The Terran Klythar Alliance. They want hybrids, super soldiers, maybe. I don't know the whole game. Cassian ran a hand through his hair, his mind racing. Hybrids? That's what the distress signal meant by hybrid breach. He glanced at the console, where Ecliptica's coordinates blinked. And you're telling me Ecliptica's cooking up more like you? Why the hell are the Varkons after this? Zyra turned back to the nav station, her fingers trembling slightly. The Varkons want the nanites for themselves. Weaponize them? Probably. Create their own hybrids, ones they control. She punched in a course adjustment, her voice steadying. Ecliptica's a black site. If it's under attack, it's because someone leaked its location. And our cargo's the key. Cassian slumped back into his chair, his cybernetic eye scanning her vitals. Her pulse was spiking, her glow erratic. So you're a prototype, and we're hauling the recipe for more. Great. No wonder the Varkons are breathing down our necks. He smirked, trying to lighten the mood. Guess that makes you one of a kind, huh? Zyra shot him a look, her skin settling into a soft blue. Don't get cocky, hotshot. I'm still mad you knew my soul name and didn't tell me. She leaned against the console, her voice softer. But thanks for not freaking out. About me being, you know, engineered. Cassian shrugged, his grin genuine. I've seen weirder. Besides, I'm not exactly stock human either. He tapped his eye, its light steady. Exiled scientist, remember? We're both misfits. The cockpit fell quiet, the hum of the engines mixing with the distress signal's faint loop. Zyra's glow brightened slightly. Misfits, huh? I can work with that. She straightened, her eyes on the viewport. Ecliptica's a few hours out, even at this crawl. We need to be ready for anything. Cassian nodded, his fingers dancing over the controls. Anything like what? More Varkons? Or something worse waiting at that base? The Sparrow shuddered, its engines straining. Outside, the Orion Veil's neon haze swirled, hiding dangers in its depths. What was Ecliptica hiding? And how much more was Zyra keeping from him? The Iron Sparrow limped through the Orion Veil, its engines coughing as it skirted the edge of a glowing nebula. Stars burned through the haze, their light fractured by wisps of cosmic dust. Inside the cockpit, Cassian Holt wrestled with the controls, his cybernetic eye darting across flickering readouts. The ship's thrusters were barely holding, and Ecliptica base was still hours away. He glanced at Zyra Velith, her crystalline skin pulsing faintly under the console's red glow. We're moving like a drunk asteroid, Zyra. If the Varkons find us now, we're toast. Zyra's silver eyes stayed glued to the nav screen, her fingers flying over a hollow panel. Keep her steady, hotshot. I'm boosting the cloak's output. Her skin flared blue, reflecting her focus, as she rerouted power from non-essential systems. The temple's signal is holding, but we're cutting it close. Cassian smirked, his hands tight on the yoke. Close is my middle name. He adjusted their course, dodging a stray asteroid that spun into view. The Sparrow groaned, its hull creaking under the strain. You sure about Ecliptica? That distress call sounded like bad news wrapped in worse. Zyra's glow dimmed, her voice sharp. We don't have a choice. The nanites, the attack, it's all connected. We need to know what's waiting there. She tapped the cargo's hollow, the canister's blue pulse steady. Besides, you're the one who wanted answers. Before Cassian could fire back, an EVE alarm blared, bathing the cockpit in crimson. His eye whirred, picking up multiple signatures closing fast. Varkon drones. 3 of them, port side. He yanked the ship into a dive, the Sparrow shuddering as it skimmed a glowing rock. Outside, sleek, insect-like drones swarmed, their plasma cannons charging with an eerie hum. Zyra cursed in Klythar, her skin blazing gold. They must have cracked the cloak. She slid to a secondary console, her fingers dancing over a hacked interface. Hold them off. I'm jacking into their systems. Her glow intensified, syncing with the console's pulses as she deployed a Klythar cyber shunt, a thin, crystalline tendril that linked her to the ship's core. Cassian grinned, adrenaline kicking in. Now that's a neat trick. He spun the Sparrow through a tight corkscrew, dodging a plasma barrage. The drones matched his moves, their AI relentless. One grazed the hull, sending sparks flying across the viewport. Zyra, anytime now. Working? On it. Zyra's voice was taut, her skin flashing with each code she cracked. The shunt hummed, feeding her neural patterns into the drone's network. Got their firewall down, rerouting their targeting protocols. A drone veered off, slamming into an asteroid in a burst of neon flame. One down, Cassian whooped, banking hard to evade the others. That's my girl. The Sparrow took another hit, the console sparking. Alarms screamed as the engines faltered, their power dropping fast. We're losing thrust. Zyra, I need those drones gone. Zyra's glow pulsed erratically, her focus absolute. Almost there. The shunt flared, and the second drone froze, its cannons powering down. It drifted, lifeless, into the nebula. The third drone fired a final salvo, clipping the Sparrow's rear. The ship lurched, its lights dimming as systems failed. Got it? Zyra shouted, her skin blazing as she fried the last drone's circuits. It exploded in a shower of sparks, the blast lighting up the cockpit. She slumped back, her glow fading to a dull blue. That's all of them, but the engines are shot. We're dead in the water. Cassian checked the readouts, his jaw tight. Ecliptica's close, but we're drifting. No way we're outrunning anything now. He turned to Zyra, his cybernetic eye catching her exhausted glow. Nice moves, back there. Didn't know you were a cyber ninja. Zyra managed a weak smirk, a hand brushing his arm. You're not the only one with tricks, human. Her voice softened, her eyes searching his. Sorry I didn't tell you everything. I'm scared, Cassian. About what I am. About Ecliptica. Cassian's grin faded, his hand covering hers briefly. We're in this together, Zyra. Misfits, remember? The cockpit hummed, the nebula's glow casting eerie shadows. A faint signal pinged. Ecliptica's distress call, stronger now, but laced with static screams. What was waiting at the base? And could they reach it before the Varkons struck again? The Iron Sparrow drifted toward Ecliptica base, its engines barely sputtering through the Orion Veil's neon haze. The station loomed ahead, a hulking fortress of blackened steel pocked with blast scars. Flickering lights spilled from shattered viewports, painting the void with an eerie glow. Inside the cockpit, Cassian Holt gripped the controls, his cybernetic eye scanning for threats. The ship's systems were on their last legs, and the Varkons weren't far behind. He glanced at Zyra Velith, her crystalline skin dim under the console's red light. This place looks like a war zone, Zyra. You sure about this? Zyra's silver eyes stayed fixed on the nav screen, a glow faint but steady. We don't have a choice, Cassian. That distress signal came from here. The nanites are our ticket in. She tapped the cargo's hollow, the canister's blue pulse flickering. Whatever's happening, it's tied to me, to us. Cassian frowned, steering the Sparrow toward a docking bay. Tied to you how? You're still holding out on me. His eye whirred, catching a spike in her vitals. Her pulse raced, her skin flickering erratically. Talk, Zyra. What's got you spooked? Zyra's glow flared briefly. Gold cutting through blue. You'll see soon enough. Just get us inside. Her voice was tight, her Klythar accent sharp as she prepped a breaching kit. The Sparrow docked with a grinding thud, the bay's airlock hissing open. They stepped into Ecliptica, weapons drawn, the air thick with smoke and the tang of burnt circuits. The station's corridors were a maze of twisted metal and sparking cables. Blast marks scorched the walls, and distant explosions rumbled. Cassian's eyes scanned for heat signatures, picking up faint traces ahead. Varkons hit this place hard, but someone's still alive. He motioned to Zyra, leading her toward a sealed lab door, its security panel flickering. Zyra hacked the panel with a crystalline shunt, her skin pulsing as she worked. This is a Terran black site. They don't build these to fall easy. The door slid open, revealing a group of haggard scientists and soldiers, their faces pale under emergency lights. At the center stood a small girl, no older than 10, her eyes glowing faintly silver. Her skin shimmered, a mix of human warmth and Klythar crystal. "Who the hell are you?" a soldier barked, raising a rifle. Cassian stepped forward, hands up, his grin disarming. "Easy, pal. We're here for the distress call. Got your nanites?" He nodded to Zyra, who held up the canister, its glow matching the girl's eyes. A scientist, her coat stained with ash, lowered the soldier's weapon. "You're with the Alliance? Thank God. I'm Dr. Lena Voss. This is Orion." She gestured to the girl, who stared at Zyra with unnerving intensity. "She's special, a hybrid, human Klythar, but she's unstable. Her telepathic bursts are tearing the lab apart." Zyra's skin dimmed, her voice soft. "A hybrid? Like me?" She knelt before Orion, her glow sinking with the girl's. "I'm Zyra. We're here to help." Orion's eyes flickered, and a wave of psychic static hit the room, making Cassian wince. His eye adjusted, filtering the noise. Voss stepped closer, her voice urgent. "The nanites stabilize hybrid DNA. Orion's the first success. But the Varkons want her. They attacked to steal our research." She pointed to blast marks on the walls. "They're still here, hunting us. You need to get Orion and the nanites out." Cassian's jaw tightened, his eyes scanning the lab. "Varkons don't play nice. How long till they breach this section?" A low rumble shook the floor, and Orion whimpered, a glow pulsing wildly. Zyra took her hand, steadying her, but her own skin flickered with fear. "Hours, maybe less," Voss said. "The nanites are keyed to Zyra's biology. She's the prototype. Orion's the next step." She hesitated, glancing at Zyra. "You didn't know, did you? About your role?" Zyra's glow flared crimson, her voice sharp. "Know what? That I'm a lab rat for your hybrid project." She stood, glaring at Voss. "What else are you hiding?" Before Voss could answer, a deafening blast rocked the lab. Alarms screamed, and Cassian's eye picked up Varkon signatures closing in. "We're out of time," he shouted, grabbing Zyra's arm. "We need to move, now." Orion's eyes glowed brighter, her telepathy spiking. What did the Varkons want with her? And how much more did Zyra not know about herself? The lab's emergency lights flickered as Ecliptica base shook from another explosion. Sparks rained from shattered conduits, and the air reeked of ozone. Cassian Holt crouched behind a toppled server rack, his cybernetic eyes scanning the corridor. Beyond the lab's breached door, Varkon signatures swarmed closer, their bio-augmented forms casting grotesque shadows. He gripped a pulse pistol, glancing at Zyra Velith. Her crystalline skin pulsed erratically, her silver eyes fixed on Orion, the hybrid girl trembling beside her. "Zyra, we're sitting ducks here. Got a plan?" Zyra clutched the nanite canister, its blue glow matching her skin's faint shimmer. "We fight, Cassian. We protect Orion." She knelt by the girl, her voice soft but firm. "Stay close, okay? We're getting you out." Orion nodded, her glowing eyes wide, a faint psychic hum buzzing in the air. Zyra stood, her glow hardening to a fierce gold. "Voss, where is the reactor? We can use it to slow them." Dr. Lena Voss pointed to a holomap flickering on a cracked screen. "Central chamber, 2 levels down. It's unstable, but you could overload it for a trap." Her voice shook as another blast rocked the lab. "You'll need to move fast. The Varkons are led by Krenvox. He's not human anymore." Cassian's eye whirred, pulling up reactor schematics. "Got it? I can. Rig it to blow, buy us time." He flashed a grin, his rogue charm cutting through the tension. "Let's give this Krenvox a bad day." He darted to a terminal, his fingers flying over the controls, rerouting power to the reactor's core. "Zyra, cover me. And keep Orion Safe. Zyra nodded, her skin blazing as she activated the nanite canister. A crystalline shunt extended from her wrist, linking to the device. "This is gonna hurt," she muttered, injecting the nanites. Her body convulsed, her glow erupting into a radiant aura. Her strength surged, muscles tensing as she lifted a massive steel panel like it was paper, barricading the door. "Go, Cassian, I've got this." The lab door buckled as Varkon soldiers, their bodies fused with biomechanical implants, smashed through. Their leader, Krenvox, loomed in the corridor, a towering figure with glowing red optics and clawed limbs. The hybrid and the nanites, his voice rasped, mechanical and cold. "Hand them over, or I carve you apart." Zyra's skin flared like a star, her voice defiant. "Come and try, scrap heap." She charged, moving with unnatural speed, her nanite-enhanced strength crushing a Varkon's arm in one blow. Her skin shimmered, deflecting a plasma bolt, but each hit dimmed her glow. Orion clung to Voss, her telepathic bursts scrambling the Varkon's comms, giving Zyra an edge. Cassian worked fast, his eyes syncing with the terminal to overload the reactor. "Almost there," he shouted, dodging a stray blast. His fingers danced, rerouting coolant flows to spike the core's temperature. The room shook, alarms blaring as the reactor's hum grew unstable. "Zyra, we've got minutes before this place goes supernova." Zyra fought like a whirlwind, her crystalline fists shattering Varkon armor. But the nanites were taking a toll. Her glow flickered, her movements slowing. Blood, faintly luminescent, trickled from her nose. "Cassian, I can't hold them much longer," she yelled, slamming Krenvox against a wall. He roared, his claws grazing her arm, sparking against her skin. Cassian's eye flashed, analyzing Zyra's vitals. Her biology was destabilizing. "Hang on." He abandoned the terminal, grabbing a medical scanner from the lab. With a few tweaks, he recalibrated the nanites' frequency, syncing them to Zyra's neural patterns. He tossed her the device. "Inject this. It'll stabilize you." Zyra caught it, slamming the shunt into her wrist. Her glow steadied, her strength surging again. She knocked Vox back, buying them seconds. "Nice save, hotshot," she gasped, her voice strained but grateful. Orion's psychic hums spiked, linking their minds in a fleeting moment of unity. Cassian felt Zyra's resolve, her fear, her trust. The reactor's alarms screamed, red lights flashing. Cassian grabbed Zyra's arm, pulling her toward Orion and Voss. "Time to go. This place is gonna blow." Krenvox staggered to his feet, his optics blazing. The lab shook, cracks splitting the walls. Could they reach the exit before the reactor detonated? And what did Vox know about Orion's power? The Ecliptica base command center was a wreck, its shattered viewports leaking air into the void. Smoke curled through sparking consoles, and the reactor's wail echoed from below, counting down to catastrophe. Cassian Holt dragged Zyra Velith behind a toppled holotable, his cybernetic eye scanning Krenvox's advancing form. The Varkon warlord's biomechanical claws scraped the floor, his red optics blazing through the haze. Orion, the hybrid girl, huddled with Dr. Lena Voss, her glowing eyes wide with fear. Cassian gripped his pulse pistol, his voice low. "Zyra, we've got minutes before this place blows. We need an exit. Now." Zyra's crystalline skin flickered, the nanites still taxing her body, despite Cassian's fix. She clutched Orion's hand, her glow steadying to a defiant blue. "We're not leaving without her, Cassian. She's like me." Her silver eyes met his, fierce but vulnerable. "Vox wants her power. We can't let him win." Krenvox's voice rasped, mechanical and cold, cutting through the alarms. "The hybrid child and the nanites. Surrender them, and I'll spare your worthless lives." He stepped forward, his massive frame dwarfing the room. Varkon soldiers flanked him, their bio-augmented limbs twitching with unnatural speed. "Refuse, and I'll rip you apart." Cassian flashed a rogue grin, his eye whirring as it calculated angles. Big talk for a glorified toaster. He glanced at Zyra, his voice steady. "Gotta play? Or are we winging it?" His fingers hovered over a scavenged grenade, its charge rigged to overload. Zyra's skin flared gold, her strength surging. "Keep him talking. I'll handle the grunts." She stood, her nanite-enhanced muscles tensing as she faced the Varkons. Orion's psychic hum spiked, a wave of telepathic static scrambling the soldier's implants. Zyra seized the moment, charging with crystalline fists, shattering armor with each blow. Her glow dimmed with every hit, her body straining under the nanite's toll. Cassian locked eyes with Vox, his grin unwavering. "You want Orion? You'll have to go through us, buddy." He tossed the grenade, aiming for a cluster of Varkon drones behind Vox. The explosion rocked the room, sending shrapnel flying. Voss screamed, shielding Orion as debris rained down. Cassian's eye filtered the chaos, spotting a maintenance hatch across the command center. "Zyra, hatch, starboard side, move." Zyra spun, knocking a Varkon soldier into a sparking console. On it, she grabbed Orion, sprinting toward the hatch. Voss followed, her face pale but determined. Vox roared, his claws slashing through a steel beam like paper. Orion's telepathy surged again, a psychic scream that made Vox stagger, his optics flickering. "The child's power is mine," he bellowed, lunging forward. Cassian dove for the hatch, his eye sinking with its lock. "Zyra, cover Orion." He hacked the panel, his fingers a blur as the reactor's alarms hit a fever pitch. The floor shook, cracks splitting the walls. Zyra shoved Orion and Voss through the hatch, her glow fading as she blocked Vox's path. Her voice cracked, raw with emotion. "Cassian, I love you. Soul name or not, I mean it." Cassian's heart skipped, his grin softening. "Love you too, Sparkles. Now move." He yanked her through the hatch, slamming it shut as Vox's claws grazed the steel. The command center buckled, flames licking the walls as the reactor's countdown hit 0. They ran down a narrow service tunnel, the station trembling around them. Orion's glow pulsed, her small hand gripping Zyra's. Voss panted, her voice urgent. "There's a shuttle bay, 1 level down. If it's intact, we can escape." Cassian's eye scanned ahead, picking up faint Varkon signals circling the bay. "It's not gonna be a cakewalk," he muttered, checking his pistol's charge. "Zyra, you good?" Zyra's skin flickered, her breathing heavy. "Barely. Nanites are burning me out." She squeezed Orion's hand, her eyes fierce. "But I'm not giving up." The tunnel shook, a distant boom signaling the reactor's collapse. The shuttle bay was close, but Varkon drones were closing in. Could they reach it before the station tore itself apart? And what did Vox mean by Orion's power being his? The stolen Varkon shuttles screamed through the Orion Veil, its hull rattling as it plunged into a nebula's swirling depths. Clouds of neon gas churned outside, streaking the viewport with electric greens and purples. Inside, Cassian Holt wrestled with the unfamiliar controls, his cybernetic eye darting across flickering readouts. Ecliptica Base was a fading glow behind them, its reactor's explosion lighting up the void. He glanced at Zyra Velith, slumped in the co-pilot seat, a crystalline skin dim and patchy. "Hang in there, Zyra. We're not out of this yet." Zyra clutched the nanite canister, its faint blue pulse mirroring her own. Her silver eyes were heavy, the nanite overload sapping her strength. She cradled Orion, the hybrid girl whose glowing eyes flickered with exhaustion. "Just keep us flying, hotshot," Zyra murmured, her voice weak but sharp. "Orion needs us, and I'm not dying in this rust bucket." Cassian grinned, his rogue charm cutting through the tension. "Rust bucket? This baby's top of the line? Varkon tech. He juked the shuttle through a nebulous storm, dodging arcs of plasma lightning. His eye caught a Terran signal pinging in the distance, faint but persistent. "We've got company. Terrans or Varkons, take your pick. Either way, they're hunting us." Orion stirred, her small hand gripping Zyra's. "They want me," she whispered, her voice laced with a psychic hum that made Cassian's head throb. Her glow pulsed, syncing with Zyra's, and a fleeting image flashed in his mind. Stars, aligning, a Klythar ritual. "You're like me, Zyra. Family." Zyra's skin flared briefly, a soft blue cutting through her fatigue. "Yeah, kid. Family." She met Cassian's gaze, her expression raw. "We can't let them take her, Cassian. Not the Terrans, not the Varkons. She's not a weapon." Her voice cracked, her glow dimming again as she fought to stay conscious. Cassian's jaw tightened, his fingers dancing over the controls. "Nobody's taking her. Or you." He rerouted power to the shields, the shuttle shuddering as a plasma arc grazed its hull. His eyes scanned the nebula, spotting a dense pocket of gas that could mask their signal. "Hold on. I'm diving deep." The shuttle plunged into the nebula's heart, its viewport swallowed by swirling colors. Alarms blared as the engines strained, but the pursuing signal faded. Cassian exhaled, his grin returning. "That's the stuff. We're ghosts now." He glanced at Orion, who clutched a small hollow device Voss had given her before staying behind to cover their escape. "You okay, kid?" Orion nodded, a glow steadying. "I feel you both. In my head." A telepathy brushed their minds, a warm connection that felt like trust. Zyra smiled, weak but genuine, and injected the last of the nanites into Orion's arm. The girl's glow stabilized, her psychic hum softening to a gentle pulse. Zyra's skin flickered, her voice faint. "That's it for the nanites. She's stable, but I'm not." She slumped further, her breathing shallow. Cassian's eye whirred, scanning her vitals. Her biology was fraying, the nanites burning through her system. He grabbed a medical kit, his hands steady despite the panic in his chest. "Stay with me, Sparkles," he said, his tone light but urgent. He rigged a stim patch to boost her vitals, his scientific know-how kicking in. "You're tougher than a Varkon warship. We're gonna make it." The patch hummed, and Zyra's glow steadied, her eyes fluttering open. "Thanks, Cassian," she whispered, her hand brushing his. "You're not half bad for a human." Her Klythar accent softened, her gaze holding his. "I meant what I said back there. About us." Cassian's grin softened, his heart skipping. "Yeah, I know. We're a team, Zyra. You, me, Orion." He glanced at the girl, who watched them with a shy smile. The shuttle's console beeped, showing a faint signal. A rogue colony, hidden deep in the Veil. "That's our ticket. A place to start over." The nebula churned outside, its beauty masking the danger. The Terran signal pinged again. Closer, now, joined by a Varkon signature. Cassian's eye narrowed, his hands tightening on the controls. Could they reach the colony before their pursuers caught up? And what kind of life awaited their new family in the stars? The stolen Varkon shuttle emerged from the nebula's neon embrace, gliding toward a hidden colony nestled under a binary star's glow. The settlement sprawled across a cluster of tethered asteroids, a patchwork of salvaged ships and habitats, strung together with glowing conduits. Lights twinkled like fireflies against the void, a beacon of defiance in the Orion Veil's lawless expanse. Inside the shuttle, Cassian Holt eased the controls, his cybernetic eye scanning for threats. The pursuing signals had faded, but his gut told him they weren't safe yet. "Welcome to our new home, folks. Let's hope they're friendly." Zyra Velith sat upright, her crystalline skin regaining a faint blue shimmer as the stim patch worked its magic. She cradled Orion, the hybrid girl, whose glowing eyes mirrored the stars outside. "This place? It's free, isn't it?" Zyra's voice was soft, her Klythar accent warm with hope. No Terrans, no Varkons, just people like us. Cassian grinned, his rogue charm lighting up the cockpit. Misfits gotta stick together. Sparkles. He guided the shuttle toward a docking platform, its surface patched with scavenged steel. His eye caught a welcoming signal, crude but genuine, broadcasting from the colony. They're rolling out the red carpet, or at least a rusty one. Orion stirred, her small hand gripping Zyra's. It feels safe, she said, her voice laced with a psychic hum that brushed Cassian's mind like a warm breeze. A glow pulsed gently, syncing with Zyra's. We're family now, right? Her silver eyes flicked between them, hopeful and fierce. Zyra's skin flared softly, her smile genuine. Yeah, kid. Family. She glanced at Cassian, her expression softening. You're stuck with us, human. Hope you're ready for that. Her hand rested on his arm, a quiet promise in her touch. Cassian chuckled, his heart lighter than it had been in years. Ready as I'll ever be. He docked the shuttle, the airlock hissing as it sealed. The colony's platform buzzed with life, rogues, exiles, and hybrids moving cargo, their faces weathered but defiant. A tall woman with cybernetic scars greeted them, her voice gruff but kind. Name's Kalia. You the ones who blew up Ecliptica? Cassian stepped out, hands raised in mock surrender. Guilty as charged, but we brought a kid who needs a home. He nodded to Orion, who clung to Zyra, but met Kalia's gaze with a spark of courage. And maybe some spare parts for our ride. Kalia's laugh was rough, her eyes softening at Orion. Hybrids are welcome here. You're safe. She led them to a habitat dome, its interior warm with glowing panels and salvaged tech. Cassian carried a crate of tools, already planning to fix the Iron Sparrow, parked in a nearby hangar. Zyra walked beside him, teaching Orion a Klythar lullaby, its harmonics echoing through the dome. Days passed in a blur. Cassian tinkered with the Sparrow, his scientific mind at ease among the ED colony's scrappy tech. He showed Orion how to recalibrate a plasma coil, her small hands quick to learn. You're a natural kid, he said, ruffling her hair. A telepathic giggle warned his thoughts, a reminder of their bond. Zyra, stronger now, shared Klythar, star songs with the colony's kids, a glow bright under the binary stars. One night, she pulled Cassian aside, her skin shimmering under the dome's lights. I owe you one hotshot, she said, her voice low, for saving me, for saving her. She leaned close, whispering her soul name, not as a pact, but as love. The sound vibrated in his chest, a melody he'd never forget. Cassian's grin softened, his hand finding hers. We're writing our own story now, Zyra. No alliances, no experiments, just us. The Sparrow gleamed in the hangar, ready for new journeys. Orion ran up, her glow bright, holding a star chart she'd drawn. Look, our next adventure, she chirped, pointing to a distant nebula. The colony's lights flickered, a faint signal pinging Cassian's eye. Distant, but familiar. Terran, or Varkon. It was too far to tell. He exchanged a look with Zyra, her glow steady but wary. Their new life was free, but the galaxy wasn't done with them. What challenges awaited their family, and would the stars ever let them rest?